Hello everyone, it's tfal&chi and welcome to another segment of Health and Wellness with tfal&chi.
Yes, and I'm Chi, and I'm a health and wellness expert with a focus on mental health, nutrition, and physical exercise.
Great, and I'm Tfal. I'm an infectious disease physician, professor of medicine, wellness coach, and the other half of tfal&chi. And today we're going to have Chi on the hot seat. I'm going to be asking him a couple of questions. So if you like this segment, like, subscribe, and share with others. Yeah. And we're going to be bringing these to you at different times, just doing very practical, relevant topics to share with you. And so we're going to get going, and I'm going to ask Chi the very first question. So,
of course.
Chi, you are a physical fitness guru, right? You teach classes, you empower people, you do a lot of things around nutrition. So before we get into my specific question, could you just give us just a brief summary of the things that you enjoy doing in the health and wellness space?
Of course. So thank you, Tfal. So when I think about health and wellness and physical exercise, they all come together. You can separate them, the way we eat, how we exercise, sleep, all of that actually all come together to make us exactly the thing you see on the outside. So working from the inside out helps you understand who you are on the outside and makes you look your very best on the outside by doing things that actually, I use the word, keep you alive. Things that actually put, that pep in your step, because when we do those things, we feel our very best. We're smiling more. Albeit I have to share that you have a lot, we tend to forget we have so many facial muscles. When we smile a lot, we tend to ward off wrinkles for a later time.
We're
engaging all these muscles. We have muscles everywhere, literally, and our skin is our biggest organ. So how we treat our skin, how much water we get into our skin, helps our skin to look the way we want it to look and not age as quickly. We're all going to age. Age is something we can't, there's nothing we can do about that. But we can always mitigate how quickly our cells age,
right,
and all of that.
And the things we do to that.
Yeah, so by eating well, moving, sleeping, and the kind of tribe we have around us, those we associate with, all help us to become the very best of ourselves.
Wow, you said a lot of things in there, including working from the inside out.
Correct.
Because a lot of times people just see people at the gym and they're lifting weights and they think that's all about. But you're making that connection between what we put into our body, how we sleep, how much water, all of that stuff.
Correct.
And you talked about being the very best version of yourself.
Sure.
So I have a question, because you love to empower people and teach.
Yeah.
When was your first boot camp?
Oh my goodness.
That you taught?
Yeah, my first boot camp I taught was perhaps about 15 years ago, and it's one of those things that just completely thrills me to be able to see, people change right before my own eyes and see them happier, because they begin to, all of a sudden, things begin, it's almost like you're, the chessboard, you're putting the pieces in the right place and you begin to see things move and you're getting to the place you need to get to. That's how I see and envision when I work with people in boot camps and or one-on-one sessions and that kind of thing. Just seeing that, transition, from, someone who has been having so many challenges and which has impacted their mood, and all of a sudden, the person they've always wanted to be emerges.
Wow. You made it. We've talked about a couple of, many times about people you've worked with and things like that, and how you said not just them getting, the confidence that my body can do these things, but also that it affects their relationships and how they're moving and navigating through life.
Correct. Yes, wow. It does. It does in quite in a substantial way, because if I can't move and you are moving, then obviously I'm not pulling my weight in that relationship, whether it's a friend relationship, whether it's a spousal relationship, whether it's a relationship with your children. There has to be, that piece where we're able to give, because for instance, I've worked with oil and gas companies, employees. I've worked with, small groups, large groups, and all of that. And just being able to see the change between all these groups and how they relate to one another when they begin to change the way they actually live their lives. And when I talk about exercise, I'm not just talking about being at the gym. The world is your gym. Your home, you can just have a mat and a couple of exercises with jump rope.
Yeah.
You can, make walking what you do. If you dance like my wife loves to dance, she's never seen a song she doesn't want to dance to. And
sometimes it's in my head.
I know, and I'm like, babe, but that's what I love about her. She's always moving. It's like literally, I can't stop her. But that's what makes her who she is. So movement is so very important, and as we move, what happens is that we're lubricating our joints. Each time, you just have to think about a wheel. When that wheel goes around, it's being lubricated. If it doesn't and it stalls, then all of a sudden there's cracking going on because cobwebs are built in and things are not moving the way they should, right? So,
I like how you brought that up because my question for you was, I asked you about the boot camp because I know you designed these things, but for someone who's watching who's saying, I'm still sitting on the couch, I want to do something.
Yeah.
My question was, does it always have to be that intense? But you started to talk about other things that people can do just to keep moving and the benefits of exercise.
Exactly, yeah, because exercise can literally, because there are two ways that we actually lose weight. Through exhaling, we exhale carbon dioxide from our mouth, and when we sweat, we excrete sweat from our skin. Those are the only two ways we actually lose weight, all right? But what do we have to do to make that happen? We have to elevate our heart rate. So if you're walking, for instance, and being able to change things up, if you're walking, you want to you walk slow, you walk fast, you change up. You walk slow, you walk fast. You could even add some sit-ups, air squats as you're walking. So anytime we're able to change things around, because the body is meant to move in so many different directions, right? Not just one. It's almost like we've talked about this before. Vitamins, right? So we take vitamin D, we take vitamin C, we take vitamin K, E, all of that, right? The same thing it is for exercise. If I'm jumping, I'm vitamin jumping. If I'm walking, vitamin walking. If I'm walking backwards, if I'm jump roping, right? So each and every one of these exercises infuses some nutrient and energy into your body that your body is looking for.
Absolutely.
To stay alive and be your very best.
Absolutely. And when you exercise, it helps with your sleep too. And when you sleep better, then you have more energy and the cycle and
exactly.
So what are I know that sometimes as women, we feel like, I don't know if I want to do the resistance training or the weights. I do it, and again, I am a convert and I know what that means. But for someone who's just okay, I'm going to start walking, and walking is such a great exercise to keep doing and building up and challenging yourself. But around, should women do weights or lift weights or resistance training? And does weights mean going to the gym and picking up the heaviest dumbbell?
So
tell us.
Resistance training is very important. That actually allows, think about this. So for women, we talk specifically about women. Women tend to actually are more susceptible to osteoporosis than men are. And when you begin to deplete your bone density, and that actually often happens with time as we age, right? But just like with women, that kind of happens a little quicker. So with all the people I've worked with in every setting, and science also supports that, that resistance training allows your muscles and your bones to, work better, regenerate better, and hold faster into your old age.
Absolutely.
So resistance training would not it literally doesn't even make anyone bulky. It doesn't. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't make you bulky. What makes you bulky is when we begin to add different elements into our training regimen, right? But resistance training is very good, helps your muscle with the elongation of muscle and all of that, helps to strengthen them. And, think about this. When we have surgery, the first thing your doctor wants to do is to make sure you're able to start moving as soon as possible, because you want your body to remember how it was and begin to repair. Repair is very important. When we are in a compromised situation, like, we had an accident or trauma or something, our muscles just go haywire. They're supposed to be striated and long and lean. But when that happens, so when we move, we're able to separate. Your muscles feel free every time you move. It's like, oh, I'm free, I can do this. That's what you want your muscles to remember. And there's no element, science doesn't support that you're going to gain weight, except if we're piling up a bunch of calories.
So that's the thing.
Yeah, we're piling up calories or using supplements that don't support what we should be doing.
I think a lot of it, sometimes there's a misconception around bulking up. But then a lot of times we actually underestimate how much you've actually burnt at the gym.
Correct.
So then people feel like, I went, so I have to eat a whole bunch of stuff. So we keep talking about what you put in, the nutrition and things like that. Yeah,
your nutrition is key, it's very important. And if you begin to think that, adding protein, because protein actually allows our cells to, recover and to replenish, adding a bunch of protein to your meals. And we're not talking about counting your proteins every day, because that's not a lifestyle.
No, it's not.
We talk about lifestyle.
Sustainable.
It's not sustainable. So if you just think about making sure you're getting a decent amount of protein, fiber, greens, eliminating processed sugars, and just using complex sugars, complex carbohydrates, raw nuts and things like that, you will definitely, and when you go to the gym with all of that and sleeping well, you would feel and be your very best.
Absolutely. And for women, like you said, the protein is so important. A lot of us are underdoing the protein and piling on simple sugars, and then we say, oh, it's our metabolism's down. But when you work out, your metabolic rate goes up, everything works well. So one of the things as we kind of close out this segment, is if you were going to talk to somebody who is now like, I've listened to this, Chi, and I want to do something. So talk to somebody who's already maybe walking every day and what they could do as they're trying to get to that next level, and to somebody who is now saying, I'm not going to wait until January to make a new year commitment. I want to start doing something today. What are some tips for somebody who's already doing something but wants to get it to that next level, and somebody who is just literally just wants encouragement that they can do this? Because sometimes people look at people like you who are fit, I've been working out all this time, and say, I don't know. It's easy for him to say that. So talk to somebody who's
so for someone who has been, been in some kind of regimen and all that, you want to take it to the next level. One of the tips is, again, you want to make sure that they're incremental, right? You don't want to just go from here to here, right? You just want to make sure they're incremental, and you're listening to your body. It's very important. Listen to your body. Make sure that your frame is always your posture is always in the right space all the time, because you want to make sure because your spinal column protects you through birth to death, to whenever we're no longer here. You want to make sure it's always in the correct place, because when we get hurt or injure our back or something because we're trying to do something excessive, then all of a sudden that takes us back.
You can't go.
And it can become a chronic issue. So listen to your body, incremental steps, right? And also, what you want to increase your water intake. Make sure you're taking in a decent amount of water every day, from the time you wake up to the time you're going to bed. But obviously, if you're dealing with any medical condition that does not permit that, then you have to discuss that with your physician to make sure that perhaps you have to change when and how you drink that water, right? But you want to make sure that you're taking in as much water as possible. You want to make sure that you're eliminating, as much processed sugars from your diet. We say no, absolutely no to things like
any kind
soda.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We and that's just who we just don't believe in soda because it's full of phosphoric acid and it's literally diabetes in a bottle. That's where we look at it.
Absolutely.
So we're very black and white about that. So and so for somebody who's started, who's already in the regimen, keep eating well, vegetables, water, raw nuts, fiber, proteins, and things like that. In the gym, if you're walking, if you're dancing, whatever it is, just make sure you're pushing yourself to the next level where you're actually able to breathe and exhale a lot more, because that's a key. Where you feel like you're almost losing your breath, but you're not. You're breathing. Make sure you're breathing and exhaling as much as possible, and that will help. And changing up your exercise, adding things here and there, but incremental steps.
And there are lots of videos on our YouTube channel with different things where we demonstrate and show the right posture and making sure that you're in alignment and not hurting yourself. And then for that, as we close out, for that person who wants to start today, they've seen this video. They're like, you got me, Chi. What do I do?
So for new beginners, right? Number one, always make sure you consult with a physician before you start, right? Make sure you know what your numbers are, all right? Make sure you know for your weight, how much do you weigh? How much should I eat? How much water should I get? Things like that. You want to make sure we have a lot of videos about, exercise and health and all of that on our channel. Study those videos, post questions here for us, and we'll be able to answer them as well. But you want to make sure that you know where you're starting. What are your goals? Is your goal to lose weight? Is your goal to feel better? Is your goal to, perhaps you have high cholesterol or you have high blood pressure? Is your goal to eliminate that? So you want to make sure you have a goal in mind, and those goals should be within a certain time frame. Don't, not because we're going on vacation. We're in Lisbon right now, my wife and I. So it's not because you're going on vacation somewhere to hang out and you want to look a certain way. No, you want it to be a lifestyle, but your goals should be 30 to, about 90 days. Give yourself 90 days to see any kind of change. Don't climb the weight scale every morning to say, oh, have I lost 1 or 2 pounds? No, you may not. And you may not lose any weight for weeks. So you have to be patient, listen to yourself, see your doctor to make sure you know exactly where you're headed, and have a goal in mind. And make sure that you're speaking to somebody with authority that understands how and when and what you should be doing. A channel is a good place to go.
Absolutely. And with that, we're going to wrap up and say thank you, Chi, for providing all that information. If you liked this video, which I'm sure you did, you need to like, subscribe, and share, and invite your friends onto our YouTube channel. Post questions, and we'll get back to you. So, thank you.
Thank you, tfal&chi. We'll see you again with another segment. Perhaps we can do something different next time.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.